wanna be free when my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. 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 Can't you see? I just wanna be free.
Okay. Another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Camille Smith. And today, folks, we have a special guest. I'm going to, first, before we introduce our lovely guest, I'm going to say when it comes to um, viewing things with like uh, Dr. Vibes and ACBN, I always notice that there's same common folks that are coming around. And when I see that face or I see that name, I'm like, yo, who's this person? Must chat to them. And you know what, folks? Here, let's introduce Mr. Tim Fray.
Yay, Camille, how you doing?
I am well. I'm well. I've been
Awesome.
having some Jamaican breakfast, so
Yes, got
now
to.
I'm good.
That's good. Awesome.
And how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. I'm fantastic. I'm doing great.
Awesome,
I love it. I
awesome.
love life.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yes.
And I want to give you your flowers because, like I said before,
Thank you.
when I see a certain name, I'm always like, who is this person? And especially like honestly, whenever I see you on Dr. Vibe or Brian's platform, even last night I saw you there. I was like, okay. You
Yeah.
know what? Me have to reach out and speak to him. So welcome, Tim
Thank you.
Fray. I
Thank you.
appreciate this. I appreciate this. And you know
Great.
what's a funny thing
Hmm.
is when I met you at in February, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, he's here. And now you were speaking to Andre mostly, but I'm a type of person that I'm when hear someone that has an important message to say, I just shut up and listen. And
Same here. Yes.
I noticed that you have a a history,
Mm.
a fabulous history, and I want the folks to know because I know we're gonna be talking about business scaling, but I
Yes.
want them to know w- unfold the story behind the man of Tim Fray.
You want me to go back to, or just tell you a little bit about what I'm doing now
Mm.
for business
Or
wise? So,
yes.
my name is Tim Fray. So I'm the founder and CEO of TAF Industries. So I spearhead an initiative known as Executive Power Up in the Black community. This is
Mhm.
where we specialize in identifying, analyzing, and preparing Black-owned businesses for scalable growth. Okay, so this involves strategic investments, branding, marketing, and whether through franchising or corporate ownership. So, like drawing on my 38 years of background in the corporate brand management, I possess a intimate understanding of corporate needs and have mentored key industry players. So, like with TAF Industries, we're dedicated to propelling businesses towards success. So, what I've done over the last 38 years is work in corporate world that's not in the Black community. I got that from my mother, who owned nursing homes over the years, back since the 80s, and my dad, who owned construction companies over the years. So, as there's five, I'm one of seven kids, and we've all learned to do that something with our hands, but also with their minds. So, a big part of it was our family coming from Jamaica and Barbados over to England, and then from England over to Canada. They really put in our minds that we need to own our own business, just not just work for somebody. So that's a little bit of what I've been doing,
Mm.
the genesis of what I've done over the last like 40 years in business.
Nice. And I, I think I remember hearing you were in the music industry before as well.
Yes, yeah. So our a little band called Selections. We since the 1980s, we've
Mm.
actually We're nominated for Juno. We won the Urban Music Award. We travel all over the world. Uh, um, we obviously, you grow up and you wish you could do it a lot longer, but then we get families and things, life happens. So, but I happen to have a studio in Bermuda, the largest studio in Bermuda. I have rehearsal
Hey.
spaces here in Canada, and I'm the president of Collective Music Nation, which we represent artists across Canada.
Okay, okay. What?
Yeah, thank
So
you.
I would say you have experience in many industries then.
Correct.
Okay, okay. And which one's your favorite one per se?
A skill in business in hospitality. I'm a franchise guru because I worked for Kira, which is now called The Recipe. They
Okay.
own Eastside Mario's, Milestones, Swiss Chalets, all those good ones. I worked in the Milestones brand for years, for decades, building them all across Canada. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I worked with Peter from Circorp, and
Yeah.
Circorp Corp. They own like Thread. They also own like Jack Astor's, Alex Vizzuli's, which we switched into Scatterbushes. So
Mm-hmm.
I've actually built from ground up franchises for franchisees. Did this there's standard operating procedures,
Mm-hmm.
hire staff, train their staff. I have a training program called T-Fit, which is online.
Yes.
So therefore, the hospitality has been my favorite, you know what I mean? Because I'm still involved with it. One of my
Yes.
partners is celebrity chef Rob Renford. We have a company called 667 Group that we do event management and also training. So Robert and I still do that. So that's my favorite
Mm-hmm.
sector. But
Yes.
I'm also in tech and also in real estate and also in just acquisitions and supply chain.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. And so shout out for you creating like milestones and
Well, I didn't. Well, no,
oh
that's
wait,
that's
I
that.
did. I
My
said
my
create.
men, my mentor.
Yes.
He built it back in the '80s. They
Hmm.
brought me on to help with the
Yes.
team get
Okay.
a whole bunch of franchises across Canada. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So and
Yeah.
start go, yeah, and so build it to where it was, where he was able to sell it for 110 million dollars in 2009 to Kira. Yeah, yeah. So he built a good brand, but he needed people to help him extend the brand. Talk
Mhm.
about the brand, believe that, be like, they call us lifers because
Yes.
it will never leave us. You know what I mean? And
Ah.
I love milestones, but you
Yeah.
move on, right? It's like you can only make certain people so much money until you realize, wait a minute here, I'm not getting a piece of that. I got to move on and get my own piece. You know what I mean? So
That's
so
true.
that's me right now.
I like
I'm in that moment.
I like how you said lifers because I feel like it's something similar to like a mentorship, and the key thing that you said was a team, that
Yes.
someone like him needs a team. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that's all I've been hearing as of late.
Mm,
Teams, teams, teams. Make sure you have
the team. Yes.
a great team to be able to, as Dr. Vibes would say, that sees your blind spots.
That's
But
right.
do you think, and I feel like you're part of the team that was able to flourish things. How important is a team to you?
A team is everything. I mean, anything I start now, it
Yeah.
comes with who is going to help me execute it because everyone has ideas. We all wake up in the morning time and we all dream what we want to be. It could be I want to be the best basketball player. You still need a team. I want to be the best artist. You still need a team. I want to be the whatever it is you're doing. You always need a team. And team doesn't mean it has to be everyone is a little different. So to be a best basketball player, you still need to have, someone who's going to be coaching you, someone who's
Mhm.
going to believe in your corner, that wake you up every day, like your mom and dad. That's part of your team. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You're also going to need someone who could take you to the next level. So you need that agent who could go ahead and do the all the legal stuff. So with the musicians, it's a little bit different. You need someone who's a producer who's on your team. So everyone needs different people in order to get them to where they need to be. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
one of the best things I could say is then that person who becomes this enormous entity, they need to actually go and pass it down to others the same
Okay.
way and not be in a silo by themselves thinking, I got it now, I got my team, I'm good to go, but
Yeah.
pass it on to others so that get them to understand that too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's where I try to give back, is to really say to others now, you know what, you need this, and this is how I can help you. I'll share my resources with you so you can build your team, get to go for it.
Amazing. And I like that because especially if we work as a community, you can't keep everything. to yourself, right? And having the resources, and I'm glad you're a type of person that's able to provide those resources, because I mean, we don't know everything, right? But
That's right.
I the way that your inspiration was to pivot to this industry, what were the type of, or what, how were you able to inspire folks to create this lovely, nope, sorry, let me rephrase that. Before you started your previous or your present industry or
Mhm.
company, sorry,
Yeah.
how were you able to share that inspiration to others? So you just said how that you had the resources and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
What were you able to, how were you able to convince folks?
Well, look, your receipt is always important. You have to show what you've done. I mean, people look at you and say, "Sure, you say you've done this." I got all these people who are call themselves consultants, but they, okay, what have you done? Like, who? Show me something you've done. I can show you Wayne Holmes, and who's the owner of, like I said, Milestones. I'm using Milestones, but I could also talk about Fairmont. I could also talk about Mongi and Quality Suites. I could talk about many different organizations that I worked for and show you and walk in there and have them, hey Tim, how you doing, and show you the receipts that
Yes.
they're Palais Royale, which is one of my a ballroom down in Toronto. That was my baby from 2006 to 2010, and everything that's
Mhm.
happening right now, it's created by myself. And then
Mhm.
Stefan, the back of the house, did the back of the house, and Christy, who's the owner, she did the sales, but I was the director of operations. So I could go there and show you my receipts, and you can see what's going on in there. That is done. It's been done. It's happening right now as we speak, not something
Mhm.
that's died off. So
Mhm.
by showing you those receipts, you know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
people go, I want you to be a part of my company. That's what happens, to the point where
Okay.
now I need a team, because I can't do it all myself. So I want to be able to show people what I do, but I need a team to help me get to around everyone I could get to.
Okay. And then obviously with showing the receipts, individuals will be able to acknowledge how there's complications when it comes to scaling a business. Or what are
Mhm.
how were you able to advise folks on, hey, this is not going to be an easy path. These are the certain things that these are the complications that you're gonna experience. What are the type of things that you would tell folks? Because I think what happens is everyone shows like, okay, I don't want to be a 9 to 5 anymore. I want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know it's so easy. Everyone I see that's an entrepreneur just does it overnight. But that's not the case.
That's
And
not
I'm
the
pretty
case.
sure.
No.
So what advice would you give folks, or like with the complications of scaling a
Well,
business?
I'll say this. I'll preface it by saying,
Mhm.
Damon John, and everyone knows who he is, right? From Fubu.
Mhm.
So people think he's just successful. He's worth $1 billion or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he went bankrupt 3 times. So
Uh,
so he went bankrupt with Fubu 3 times. He
mhm.
went, did it, learned, bankrupt, did it again, learned, bankrupt, did it. So I'm just telling you that to keep that in mind, right?
Mhm.
And one other one. Let's talk about music. The Beatles. So they're one of the best examples I could say. 65. They got 65 no's,
Mhm.
and the 66 no.
Mhm.
So 66 time was a
Yes.
yes, and that's why we have the Beatles today. Do you understand my point? So my point.
Mhm.
So this is what I'm trying to say about scaling a business, because people think that it's going to happen overnight, and it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
So scaling a business is undoubtedly, it's a complex endeavor, right? So
Mhm.
along with my journey, I encountered like various challenges. So from managing increased demand to ensuing like operational efficiencies, like one of the key lessons I've learned is the importance of maintaining a clear strategic vision. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's crucial to align every aspect of your business with your long-term goals. So
Okay.
therefore, now if you were to fall off, the rails, you can always get back on, because you have a long-term goal. But usually,
Yes.
people who fall off the rails just stay there and say they give up. Unfortunately,
Mm.
you know what I mean. So while
Mhm.
being aligned, like agile enough to like adapt to the market shifts, and building a strong, dedicated team has always been instrumental to overcoming scaling challenges. So it goes back to the team.
Mhm.
But like I said, it has to be a long-term goal, a long-term vision. Understand that if the Beatles said gave up on the 25th time, that they said no, gave up on the 40th time, that they said no, gave up on the 60th time, that they said no, we wouldn't have the Beatles today. But
True.
you have to have a long-term goal. You got to have the right team around you. Obviously, those guys are around each other. They were the right team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they
Yes.
kept going, and they kept going, and they kept going. That's how they were able to scale their business and scale what they have. So we have to have that mindset in
Mm-hmm.
order to do that. A widget's a widget, a product's a product, a service is a service. It's
Yes.
nothing about that. It's a process. It's like, are you going to stick with the process to try, adapt, change, whatever you got to do to go to your long-term goal? That's how you scale. Just because you think you have a great jerk chicken doesn't mean it could be for everybody across Canada and you can scale it. You know what I mean? You might have to do some ideations of that jerk chicken to allow it to appease the mass. But if you don't want to do that, you're never going to scale. You're going to say, no, my chicken's the best chicken. I'll leave it exactly how it is. That's your fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you're not changing to scale. You know what I mean? So scaling is it's not as easy as people think.
Okay.
But it's easy if your mindset is in the right place.
True. And I guess with scaling and knowing when to pivot, you also and having the long term,
Yeah.
then you definitely need like a business plan and certain things like that, right?
Yeah.
Or because I'm trying to think, because I know there's a lot of folks in the community that they have these dreams and these goals, and they see it. They're like, yo, I have the best jerk chicken. Why am I have to
Yeah.
change it? So how do you sit down with individuals like that to be able to, I guess, give them a reality check in a sense?
I mean, you're asking how do you sit down with them? You just sit down
Yeah.
with them. There's
Yeah.
no real scientific,
Hmm.
mathematical equation of if you do this and that, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just look, for those who are looking to scale their business,
Hmm.
I'd emphasize on the significance of a strategic partnership. I think that if people, organizations find the right partners that wake up every day, maybe before them,
Hmm.
hopefully, and is thinking about their business. And when you wake up, your business has already been thought about, and something is happening to your business. Those partners are important to have. To find those
Yes.
partners, it's unbelievable to find a strategic partner. That's imperative to
Hmm.
scale in any business. Collaborating with the right partners can open up like new opportunities and all resources that you might not have had. You know what I mean? That otherwise it'd be out of reach. So
Hmm.
additionally, a data-driven decision making is essential also. So when you have this strategic partner, you got to
Yes.
go by the data and have everyone has a buy into it. You know what I mean? So you
Hmm.
collect and analyze the data, you gain insights into the customer's behaviors and market trends,
Yes.
but you never underestimate the value of continuous learning and adaptability. You have to adapt. If you don't adapt, you'll never scale. And so find the right strategic partners who believe in the right things. I'm telling you right now, it's like clockwork. When you see all those things working in the clock, everything's like
Hmm.
working in harmony. That's when you find a strategic partner who can share resources. That's how it becomes. I'm telling you right now, it's easier for me to say that now because I have teams like that.
Yes.
But it took a long time.
Hmm.
I'm not like young. I'm 56. It took a long time and a lot of crying, a lot of like beating your head against the wall, a lot of like bad relationships when it comes to partnerships with guy friends who should have been there in the first place. It took a lot of that effort of getting the right strategic partners. I'm telling you
Yes.
right now, it's easy to say no now to
Yes.
people for business because I know that's not what I want anymore. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
say, look, brother, I love you. I'll see you at Christmas. I
Yeah.
love you. I'll see you at Thanksgiving. But
Mhm.
I have to pass. I got to move on. You know what I mean? I got to find people who are the same space I'm in. You know what I mean? So we could go forward.
That makes sense. So now I'm interested in
Okay.
that strategic partnership.
Yeah.
Um, are you able to tell the story of how you? So I know you have one where the story's bad, but how were you able to find your first successful strategic partner?
You mean in the black community? Because now that I'm in the black community, or you're talking about because I found my partners
True.
years ago
Yes.
that's not in the black community. So we're talking about the black community, right?
Correct, in the Black community.
Yeah, because it's different.
Yes,
I
yes,
still have
yes,
partners outside the
yes.
Black community, but and
True.
that's yeah. But so right now, like in the Black community, when I've been searching for the last few years,
Yeah.
I was looking more for organizations than a person
Okay.
per se. You know what I mean?
Okay. Perfect.
And during that time, I created initiative called Executive Power Up, and then the Executive Power Up is a group of Black businesses that have become
Okay.
C-level. So now what we're doing is to scale businesses. We want to share resources. So
Yes.
why would I have this one person, Wayne Harris, just come in and use him as a CFO? Why wouldn't I have Wayne Harris's world, his company, come
Yes.
in as a CFO and use all their resources to be able to help a business? So now
True.
I've had to vet for the last 2-3 years, and this is
Mhm.
what's happened. So if you go into Executive Power Up, you'll see Ryan and Ryan Consulting and his group. You'll see Wayne, the CFO, and Wayne Harris at his world and his group.
Okay.
You'll see Randy Reed from Vibe 105, and he's my communication guy. He does CMO. He's a marketing communication, but
Yeah.
his company does that. So now I can go down a list. I found all these C-level people,
Yes.
companies, to work with them. But it took some once again some heartaches because I did not know my own Black community. You know what I mean? So it took a bit of research, do my due diligence,
Yes.
having to bring some people on and learn the hard way to say no to them really fast. Because I realized that they were opportunists and not opportunity makers. You know what I mean? It's a little different from someone who wants to come in, but they weren't willing to do the work. They saw opportunity
Mm.
for them to actually make something without really being given back any resources. There's people like that. So I'm not saying everyone is, because I have to look at myself in the mirror sometimes and make sure that if Larry Tannenbaum calls me, then I'm not going there for being like an opportunist. I'm going there to bring something to the table also. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if that makes sense to you, that's another topic in itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No,
It's
no,
like
it
give and
is.
take.
It give and take. But there's people who are opportunists, and you
Yes.
gotta sniff them out really fast. And also, you gotta know when you're an opportunist. When you meet somebody who's above your level, like I
Yes.
do sometimes, I
Mhm.
go, am I meeting them for the right reasons, or am I meeting them because I think I can get something from them? That you have to really check yourself. You know what I mean?
Reality check. I'm
Reality check, right?
and
So
that's sorry, and that's self-awareness because I'm glad that
yeah,
you're able to be like, "Oop, oop, oop, oop." Y-
yes,
And I'm just saying, Tim, you know how you're trying to build this relationship. It's on a different aspect. So I
yes.
get that. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I don't think a lot of people can I don't think a lot of people can admit that they are trying to see what they can receive
Hmm.
and then to give. And I think that's really important when it comes to partnership. So I'm glad that you mentioned like the teams that you have with like Ryan, Wayne, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And what about so you have the team that does finance, communication, um what else? Consulting,
So operations. I mean,
operations.
so
Sorry, yes, yes,
his
yes.
consulting companies does operations.
True.
Also have Anik, who does the actual technical part. So she does technical, so
Hmm.
CTO, but she also does digital branding because she has her own team that does
Yes.
all that stuff. So Anik's on
Okay.
there, and then
Yes.
we use her other team to do the resources, digital branding, website designing, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Then I have my investor, CIO. So
Hmm.
Patrick, his company does all the FHH Enterprises, so he's a CIO. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And then now I'm still vetting for a legal. So I've had a lot of people that I worked with, but I
Hmm.
can't find everyone I work with right now. Currently, especially
Hmm.
when doing franchising, they're all um, okay, they're all Jewish and they're all or they're Greek that I'm working with right now. I'm just saying that because they
Yeah.
are they're
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
of mine.
Yeah.
But for this particular initiative, which is the Executive Power Up, is for Blacks. It's Black
Fair.
community for everything for Black. We want to keep the dollar roll like circulating in our community and every aspect. So I'm now still vetting to find
Yes.
the right firm that's Black that could do business law and do franchising law. So I'm still
Okay.
vetting because the people have come to me, but
Yeah.
not everyone meets criteria. So for my vetting.
Because I
So
just thought about I just because I went so I went to a networking event last week.
yeah,
So definitely talk about that offline of
sure.
names that I've heard. So that's a well set team. And to be able to help the community and hmm what are wow, I actually, the reason why I'm saying wow is because I seen a post where those are the three criterias, or
Mhm.
not three, the categories that you mentioned
Yeah.
are all important for your team.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that you're, showing the receipts
Yeah.
and showing that you actually are following that procedures, because without that team, especially the legal team, you won't be able to.
Correct.
Without a legal team, things get complicated with like
Well, well, well,
contracts and everything.
well, especially if you're like I'm taking on this one big project,
Hmm.
and what happens is we need a compliance department, and within the compliance department we need a legal team. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
so that's so the and it's a large project. I'm talking about like hundreds of millions of dollars. So to me, it's like it has to have that department with that team.
Absolutely.
But it can't be one person. That's why it has to be that.
Mm,
The way I want to do this is to actually have a business
yes.
that's not depend on this one project, but
Mhm.
also they're available to take on this and they'll make funds from it because it's not a non for profit. This is
The real deal.
yes, generate that funds, put it back into the system, make sure they're hiring staff, which is black, make sure that they're spending on other companies that's black. It has to be full circle. You know what I
Oh,
mean? We have to keep our money within our community longer than 6 hours. You know what I mean? So that's a big part of the whole thing.
and
Yeah.
what is your thoughts about that?
Well, what do you mean? And thoughts about what's my thoughts? That's an
When
open-ended
you
question.
said so, well, yeah, because
Yeah.
you mentioned that it's better, because normally our dollar, the black dollar does only stay in the community for 6 hours.
Yeah.
How are we able to keep it a little bit longer?
Scaling businesses. So,
Scaling.
so here's an issue. This is bring right back to scaling. This is the reason why I created Executive Power Up, so we can
Yeah.
identify black businesses that we can help scale, go from
Mhm.
1, 2 locations to 50 and 100 locations. Because what
Okay.
happens is not everybody is an entrepreneur. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But they everyone wants to have their own business. But
Correct.
sometimes if there's a great business out there ready, why can't we put you in that business by giving you a location to run it because it's a great business? So,
True.
so you know what I mean? So yeah, sure, you won't be making 100% of that. You make 90% of it and give the 10%
Mhm.
royalties back to the owner of that business. But we're all working together. So why
Yes.
wouldn't we do that and go from 27,000 business to 50,000 business? But they're not new businesses. They're just locations of businesses that are successful. There's a reason why McDonald's has 44,000 locations, and it's not new McDonald's going on over there. It's a McDonald's, but it has 44,000 locations. So we're here
Mhm.
with 27,000 black businesses, and
Yes.
they have 44,000 locations for one business.
Wow.
So when we start talking about keeping our dollars within our community, then we need to
Yes.
actually scale our businesses. So therefore, now we're having more businesses out there that we can actually spend on. Because what's
Mhm.
happened is the reason why it leaves because we want to buy that rice. Our black there's no black person that's selling the rice, or if they do, they don't have enough for everyone. So we have
Yes.
to go to Dollar Fresh Go. We have to go to Metro to buy that rice. So right
Mm.
away, our dollars are gone out of our community right away. They've gone to
Yes.
it's gone to somebody else. So in order for us, back to what we talked about, in order for us to keep that in our community, we have to actually scale businesses so we have businesses to spend on. So what we need to do is identify some businesses, identify gaps, identify
Yes.
that we don't have any manufacturers, we don't have any
Yes.
supply chain people, we don't have this, and then fill those in. Therefore, now we're spending our money on our community. And that's
True.
what's happening right now as we speak. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
The changes are being done, but
Okay.
what happened is it can't be a consensus.
Mhm.
A consensus kills any idea. It has to be. Jeff Bezos didn't come to me and say, Tim, what do you think on your community about me doing Amazon this like this and like that? He just did
Yeah.
it. And we came in and bought into it and making him hundreds of billions of dollars. So my point is that we as a black community always want to have a consensus with the community. No, you
True.
build something, you make it work, you build it, you develop it, you get the same minds together and scale it, and then it will happen. We will go from 6 hours to 8 to a day to 5 days but we got to do it. You know what I mean? What we do well. You know what I mean? And do
Yes.
it well.
Master it, basically.
Master it. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right because I'm thinking like I don't know if there's any black owned like supply chains or manufacture like for most things.
There isn't.
Um
Yeah, well, look, I have friends who, like, for instance, Famad, who owns A1 Cash and Carry. I remember when
Mhm.
his dad built that in a little 2,500 square foot space. A
Yes.
lot of my clients, all my clients are in Brampton, all my clients,
Mhm.
my friends are all East Indian, and I
Yes.
built some of their brands. Like, have you ever been into Royal Pond, which is my friend
Yes.
Sagar? So I actually helped him build that over in Calgary, in Edmonton, whatever. He's up to almost 50. I talked to him last week. He's in India right now. He's up to
Yeah.
almost 50 brand of those. And when I started with him, he had
Yeah.
only 12, 11 or 12. So he uses also A1 Cash and Carry, who he supported when their father owned it, when they had this one little
Mm.
small spot. And now
Yes.
Fallman, who's the brother, who's the son, him and I are good
Yes.
friends. He opened up his fifth one, I think, in London, and
Yeah.
it's like a Costco now, 10,000 SKUs. You know what I mean? So there, here we go. The East Indian has their own. We don't have that. Try to find someone who's black that owns something like Costco or Cash and Carry or whatever it is that has 10,000 SKUs in there, and a lot of those products are black. You know what I mean? You can't find that. So so once again, TAF Industries, we're working on that whole supply chain.
Okay.
I'm in Barbados now. I had a talk this morning with the manufacturer in Barbados, and then I'm talking to someone in Ghana, so we can bring
Yes.
shea butter over to Barbados and then bring it
Come
into Ghana.
true.
So so
Come true.
to your point though, we need more. We need more people, more black people who are doing this. It
Yes.
can't just be one person or one group. It has to be a lot of us doing it. So
That is
so so hopefully what happens is I told everyone on my team, let's do this for the products we want to get into the POs. We have these POs at Winners and these POs at healthy food stores. We want to
yes.
actually get those and cover those. Let's do that process. And through
Mm.
that, we can show that template to others. And hopefully they
Yes.
could go ahead and get more buildings and do the exact same thing for the product they want to bring over and do and supply. And then help them do the whole logistics of delivery. So they could
Yes.
use somebody else, or we could create our own delivery system. You know what I mean? And work together and create our own delivery system. But all that stuff, it's like you just need the people who have been doing it before. I just
Mhm.
lucky enough to have people around me who've done it with me before.
Okay.
So we're doing our own now for our own products and stuff for our own businesses, and then we can
Yes.
share what we've done.
I like that because you said that you will have the template and be able to provide it to others.
Correct.
And I think, and I heard this at another event, is just like the blueprint's there. All you have to do is follow it.
But now, a lot of people don't want to follow it. They want to do their own thing, right? No, but
Eh,
you're laughing, but it's so
no,
true.
I know, and that's why it's you know what? And I can't even fault that because I'm just as bad. Like
Mhm.
just yesterday I was told I was stubborn. I was like, I know I'm stubborn, but I'm ready to like listen because obviously if you have the blueprint and it worked,
Yes.
why wouldn't I follow?
Or at least you don't have to do exactly the same. I would say, you
Mhm.
want to make something your own sometimes.
Yes.
But if they're successful, yeah, but they're successful with it, then why not? Yeah, why not? Look, there's no music out there right now, even back in the day, that was just came out of the blue. Someone always got it from somebody else, some
True.
idea from somebody else. Seriously. You know what I
True.
mean? So to me, it's like, then why wouldn't you just copy that blueprint, what they did is successful, and then make it your own? But make it Camille Smith, whatever you got to do. But you don't need to go reinvent the wheel. The wheel's there, but how can you make it yours? You know what I mean?
True.
So yeah,
That's very true. But I'm excited to see like the your business flourishing that because supply chain absolutely we need. And if you're
we do.
able to get it from different locations or
Hmm.
countries like Ghana, Barbados, maybe Jamaica has something to it,
Yeah,
may have to represent.
yeah. No, I
I'm
got
just
you.
right. Hopefully that they'll be able to see what's happening and seeing that listen, there's a game plan that we have. Here's the template. Everyone can eat.
That's right.
Everyone's able to scale and make this work. We just all have to be on the same page. We don't have to
Correct.
struggle no more,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct.
And because it just and again, like, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I'm really happy that you have things like that. And I guess, what other insights do you have for our community to scale a business? Because I feel like we have the opportunity.
Mhm.
I think it's just more so of like the strategic partnership and just remembering the top goal.
I think um, a lot of entrepreneurs in our community need to look in the mirror, or at least listen to someone who says maybe what you're doing right now is. I'm going to put it bluntly. I when someone asks me to analyze your business, I would be straight with them after I analyze it, and I'll say you're literally a dead man walking when it comes to the business. So I would say I'd rather you take a step back. You know what I mean? Analyze it to take two steps forward. And sometimes that means stopping right there. Some people hold on to their business, their idea of their business, too long because they don't realize that it's not. They didn't analyze it to see, is it the market? Is it the actual item? Is it the product? Is it the service? What is it? Not have enough staff? When they find out what's wrong with their business, it might not work. They
Hmm.
rather hang on to it until it dies eventually, instead of saying, "Let me reinvent it. Let me take a step back. Let me strip it down. Let me whatever it is." A lot of people don't like our community has too much pride and too much of a ego to take a step back and literally say, let me let this go and move on to something different and take that same energy into something
Yes.
that's probably going to work. So that's why I would say we need more of that. And it
Mhm.
might sound a little bit mean, but when you start listening to other communities do that and you hear them and go, I got that message back in 1993. It's like,
Mhm.
Tim, take a step back. Tim, take a step back and
Mhm.
then reassess, and then let's take two steps forward. So there's one business I was doing that wasn't working.
Mhm.
And when he
And
told me that, I said, F you. I told him that. I said, what are you talking about? I said, no. But to this day, Eugene Clark, and if you ever listen to this, he's the one was my partner. That
yes.
Eugene Clark, who's, if you ever watched In the Heat of the Night, or if Eugene Clark, who's done other stuff with Shatner and whatever, Tech Wars and stuff like that. He was my partner then, and he said, Tim, take a step back. Let's reassess to go forward. And I remember that, and I didn't do it, and I lost that business. And I to this day I remember him saying that, and I always do it now. If I figure think something's not going well, even in my personal life, I will take a step
Yeah.
back, reassess, take a look at it, and then let go of certain things that's hindering me from going forward. Yeah.
Hey, I hold on, hold on, hold
No,
on,
no
hold
worries, no worries.
on. I don't know if you can hear in the background.
The dogs,
um,
yes, that's okay.
he, you know what? Maxwell just agrees with you, taking a step back,
That's good.
and
That's
and
good.
and I believe it because our ego and pride hinders us a lot,
It does.
and I don't know what we need to do to to solve that problem. But like you said, looking in the mirror, or maybe it's just like, if the plan that you have isn't working and someone has an ideal strategy, how are you able to, like, Eugene was able to tell you to step back,
Yes.
but how did what did it take for you to see that, okay, this plan's not going as I would like, I can go to that way? Like, what was the turning point where you're like, okay.
I lost Eugene as a partner, and I lost the business.
Damn.
So I had to learn the hard way because I
Mm,
was young.
mm.
You know what I mean? So I was young. My mom and dad brought me up into the business world. I thought the business I had was, you know, I went to business school, blah 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 blah. I was going to succeed no matter what, but it wasn't the right time for that particular company. And,
Yeah.
and and when I lost him and I lost the business, kind of dwindled, then it's like, what did I do wrong? And
Mm.
the thing is, I didn't listen to Eugene. You know what I mean? That's what I did wrong. I didn't listen to someone who was older. Who, he was in the, he's done business before. He's on
Yes.
TV. He's being successful doing what he's doing. I
Yeah.
should just listen to him,
Mm.
and I didn't listen. So once again, pride, being proud, being a black young man, thinking that I know
Mhm.
better. So now I when I'm in a room, especially dealing with business, I listen. Unless I'm asked to come and talk about something, I listen, because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to be making a deal with anybody, an MOU, LOI, whatever it is that we're doing to go forward with business, I want to hear what other people are saying,
Mm-hmm.
because those experts in that particular product or service was going to help me go forward. Part of the team, so I always listen to them. I
Yeah.
bring what I know well to make it go flourish, but I want to listen to those tech people I'm involved with some tech companies, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't do coding, I don't do all that stuff, but I'm there to actually help them with their business part of it, to get it scaled. They take care of the operational part and all that stuff. So we listen to each other. So
Yeah.
I listen to what they're doing, they listen to what I'm doing, and we complement each other there. I didn't listen to Eugene. I should have listened to Eugene. So that was a breaking point for me. Was I didn't listen to him. Business failed. I had to take. Then I was
Yeah.
forced to take a step back. I had no choice. You know what I mean?
The
So when I
harsh
did that,
realities.
I remember that to this day. That's 1992. I remember that to this day. And that's why I still use that, even in my relationships. I use that with my daughters. Use that with my
Mm-hmm.
son, my granddaughters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would, if something's happening, not happening right, I go, let me take a step back. Did I do it right? Did I actually come to them right, say the right things? And
Mm.
then I'll reassess and then come back differently. So I use that all the time now in everything I do, because
Yes.
that moment I lost something I really liked, I wanted, and now I use what he says to analyze everything I do.
Those harsh realities.
Harsh realities, correct?
Okay, so and I'm I'm glad that you mentioned it, because there's gonna be someone that's listening and they're
Hmm.
gonna be like, no, 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 but I can make it work. I can make it work. And then all of a sudden they lose everything, especially if you
Yeah,
have like a partner like that. So that happened in 1992. Are you comfortable with talking about how you were able to push through to the next business?
yeah. I mean, sure.
Hmm.
Um, well, I mean, straight up with you though,
Yes.
that I've always had multiple things going on at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
So 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 even today, I just had a MOU being curated this morning for another business.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 36 businesses going, and I have MOUs in the funnel, with
Mm-hmm.
working with other people trying to organize certain things. So
Yes.
I had other businesses going on with at that time, that I just
Mhm.
went to that, focus on that.
Okay. Okay.
I loved what I was doing with him, Eugene, and with
Mm-hmm.
Steve, and those guys I was working with,
Yes.
but I lost that. Not which I thought was going to be great, but I had other things going on. You know what I mean? My mom owned nursing homes, and I was working in there and doing other stuff, right? And my dad had
Okay.
enterprise and construction and stuff like that. Yeah. So I've always been. I think this is one of the things too. When we talk about scaling, we
Yes.
we can't we can't bank on one idea being it. We like this is what happens with the music industry. A lot of these guys just come into our studio and they go, "I got the best songs and be banging, it's gonna make millions." And I look at Steve, I look at him, the guy, and I go, "What other songs do you have? What are you talking about? This is a song that's gonna be." It's like you can't bank on one thing. I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
right now, you got to put a lot of stuff on the fire. You know what I mean? You don't know
Okay.
what's going to actually do really well and what's not going to do well. You just got
True.
to keep doing it. There's a reason why Prince wrote 400 something songs that was in that vault when he actually left Warner's. You know what I mean? Because he knew
Mm-hmm.
that I could write another 400 songs. I don't care. Take what you want to take. I'll call myself, formerly known as, and do what I got to do. That's what he did. So that's showing you that it can't just be one idea, one business. If you're a true entrepreneur,
Yes.
you're not going to have one business and one idea. A solopreneur will have the one business and one idea, and all they did was buy themselves a job. But an entrepreneur is going to have multiple things going on, because you never know what's going to happen with it, right? So
Zing! The
yeah,
one thing that happens, I think, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because and no shame to the folks that are listening and stuff. A lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs, business owners, because they want to feel good about themselves, right? Because
mm,
they created a baby, and you know what? I'm guilty of this too. I created a baby. This is what I work towards,
mm,
but at the same time, you are a solopreneur, because that's the only option that you have, and it is scary when you don't have different
correct. Other
um
avenues,
avenues. Thank you.
yeah,
Other
yeah.
avenues to work with. And how do you, and I guess that's with the scaling, but what advice would you give folks that have this one baby, but they also want to be more creative with having other things? Like it's like I always think of it as like the table, like when you only have the one table and it cut off and
Mhm,
you're screwed.
mhm,
And I feel like that's what has happened to a lot of folks, especially with the pandemic. You really learned that a lot of folks didn't have like emergency funds
yeah.
or different things. Like if they lost their business or lost their job, that was the only thing that they were getting money with. But like, how are we able to um, educate or teach folks that you have to think of different avenues when it comes to either whether it's being a 9 to 5er
Mhm.
or even an entrepreneur, solopreneur, and all that good stuff.
So the first things first, I don't teach folks because
Oh,
I try not to go, I try not to get involved and direct them, and that's why I have insurance on that when it comes to consulting. So I don't consult anymore. I'm a business developer and help people share resources. So back to your point though is that when you have any kind of product or service, because that's what we do. We sell products or we sell services, right?
yes, yes.
There's multiple ways of making revenue from that one product or that one service. What
Mm,
happens is majority of us solopreneurs think there's only one way of making money from that product or that service. But they could if they diversify themselves with saying, you know what, I could turn this shrimp into a wing and open and turn it into a nice fillet, or chop it up and put it into a soup, or chop up that shrimp and put it together with a sub, make it as a shrimp sub. There's
mm,
different ways and different revenue streams where you're going to make money from someone who loves a sub, someone who loves soup, someone who loves whatever. There's different ways of using that product or service.
true.
Solopreneurs don't explore that enough, or don't transition into those kind of
Mm,
things. Or even, for instance, one of my clients, as soon as the pandemic hit, I mean, he had his great breakfast place in Streetsville that's
yeah.
always busy, packed.
Mhm.
Bobby. So what happens is Bobby says, Tim, we're closed down. I'm not sure what are we gonna do. I said, well, why don't you turn it into a takeout? He goes, what are you talking about? So what happened is he put some of that money that they're given, COVID given, and he
Mhm.
went and he cut a hole out of the wall where along the side, and then he
Yes.
started doing a drive-through breakfast, and he was so successful at that. So he transitioned to that.
Mhm.
It was distance first of all, so they were fine. You know what I mean? And people would order online, so I got them the POS system through Touch Beach when they could order online and do his
Yes.
stuff. So it's knowing that one product and service you have, you can just transition it or turn it into other revenue streams. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you understand that, you're
Mhm.
good. But if you think that the one thing you have is the only thing you could do and sell, or a t-shirt or whatever it is, then
Yeah.
yeah, you're probably going to have those ups and downs. And then when you're down, you're going to be really down. And then when you're up, you think you're flying in, and you don't realize that you have to keep in between. So
But you
so
forget when you were down.
you forget when you were down. Right? So to me, it's like I tell people when they ask me what to do, it's like diversify yourself with that one product or service if that's all you have. The multiple streams you can make from that one product or service. You know what I mean?
Nice. I'm glad that you're able to help him with that because that that's genius actually.
Not
Like,
okay. I know you say that's genius. To me, it was like it just makes sense. Everyone else is doing takeout, so turn your full service restaurant
mhm.
into a small
Yeah,
takeout.
I know. But
So
when
to
I
me, it
say
was
it's
just genius. It was just
genius,
uh,
it's just because like they're probably so flustered, so worried about
yeah.
how to pivot into something else, and you're just like, takeout.
I told him turn your FSR into QSR, and he goes,
Mm.
oh, never thought about that. And next thing you know, and the thing is, when they came back, he wanted
Yeah.
to keep it as a QSR, quick service restaurant, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't, because everyone loves Bobby, so he just
Mm.
opened it back up, and it was fine.
Oh,
But he was able to pivot and still do well
yes.
from the
Oh,
one thing he did. You know what I
that
mean?
that's that's amazing
But
because
we
like
but and he wasn't black. But if I ask a black person to do that, they might say, "No, man," and I'm done. I'm done. What could I do? Yeah, it's like I can't convince them. So, but they
yeah.
go, no, 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 no. So to me, it's like, okay, that's fine. So, but I'm saying to you, to say, if we're going to talk to people who are watching now, you have to diversify your product or service that you have. You have
Yes.
to. You have to be multiple way of you to actually make funds from that one product or service you have. It can't just be one way of selling it, one way of getting money from it.
And
Yeah.
I'm so sad that you said like if it's hold on, your product or service. I'm sad that you say that if it was in our community that they probably wouldn't listen. But why I actually know someone that was able to pivot into delivery. So they started, safety and stuff. It was just Chef Crema, bigger up.
Mm. Yep.
She was able to pivot and then she was able to get back into a restaurant afterwards.
Yes.
So I mean, there are folks that take that into consideration. It's just you really want to be mindful of how to diversify your business so you're able to pivot into other things. Darn it, there is something else that I thought is the technology. Because I
Mhm.
think technology, because there's AI and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
How are you able to, as a business developer, able to organize the technology side of things?
Organize it. I'm the biggest
Or
component for AI. AI. If you my anyone that does business with me now, if they don't
Mhm.
understand how to use the software, how to prompt, then
Yes.
I'm not doing the MOU a business with you. So AI right now, there's
Mhm.
no. If we that's another topic. You could get into that. I'm doing that for the University of Toronto. I'm actually doing that
Yeah.
with Paul Green and showing students how to actually use AI in their schooling and stuff like that, and what we're looking for as business owners from people who go out there for looking for a job. That a lot of jobs now are coming with, do you know how to prompt? And if you don't, then therefore now we're not hiring you, because AI has become a huge part of each department that we have to use that, whether it's for graphics, whether it's for copywriting, whether it's for whatever it is, we use AI now software for everything. I have
Yeah.
thousands of software coming across my desk every day with
Yes.
AI, and I'm
Mhm.
sifting through everything to find the best ones to give it to my teams. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so so AI, to your point, is huge. You know what I
Mhm.
mean, when it comes to business scaling, because we
Yes.
now have a level playing field that most people didn't have before. So even when it comes to, yesterday, I was talking to somebody in one of my companies,
Mhm.
because they were talking about, we don't have any tax breaks, we don't know how to do to get we don't know how to get those tax breaks like the rich people do. I go, but tax GPT. And they go, what's that?
Well done.
Someone put in the States, someone put all the tax codes, everything, they upload all that data into tax GPT dot whatever it is. So
OMG.
therefore now you could go in and put all your business in there and ask them to find you savings like they would actually do to paying millions of dollars to an accounting firm, because now you have access to a system that could go and dive into the tax code and find everything for you, like an accounting can do for $1 million firm. So that just came out because someone just put that out a couple months ago. Tax
I'm
GPT.
looking at it right now as we
Yeah,
speak.
but
What?
they haven't done one for Canada yet. I'm looking for one for Canada. That one, I think there's one, that one's one for the IRS. But
Uh-huh.
unless they did one for Canada, they said they're working on it. But what they need to
Alright.
do is they're just going to upload all the information into GPT, and then therefore now you can ask any questions to say, here's my T2, here's what business I've done. Can you find me a savings? And they'll find you.
Wow.
Not just a generic CRA tax thing. Now it'll find you savings to keep your money. And I'll give you suggestions of, you know what, if you do this and buy
Mhm.
this and that, or put it into this fund or whatever, then you can
Yes.
save money there. So now we have no excuse. AI has given us a
Mhm.
level playing field. We just got to use those tools. They're just
I
tools.
yes, yes. And I tools, especially for a business and when you want to be scaling up, you
Yes.
have to utilize the tools that are around. And it's it's not that hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's times when I'm on Chat GPT. I'm not saying for everything, but
Mhm.
sometimes I dabble into it. But I do get down like a rabbit hole of like example. I was trying to convey a visual garden for artists
Gotcha.
about their business, and I used ChatGPT, and the way that it sounded so cool, and I wanted to like really focus on getting like the pictures and all that stuff. But I went down a rabbit hole. So
Mm.
I think the thing is it is a great tool, but you have to learn how to uh you know put it to the path that you actually want to get into, so you're not going down a rabbit hole and wasting hours, because it's like it's like going on IG or something. You be
Yeah.
scrolling and wasting your time. But I think the best thing is with technology is there's a way to utilize it properly
Mhm.
and use it efficiently, so you're able to have a better system with
So,
the
so, so, so every business has questions when you do the project, right? You have a question you want to get an answer to. So
correct.
if I'm going to go into a meeting with somebody, and
Yes.
that person's supposed to be an expert, and I go in that meeting with that person and ask questions, I'm looking for answers for me so I can
Yes.
actually use it for my business.
Mm,
That's how you use chat, any of those Perplexity, copy.ai, Monica now, who's an assistant. Monica's a chat GPT, Monica.ai. Uh, um, and then ChatGPT. These are all softwares that has the same engine programs
mm,
that you could just prompt it with a question to get
correct.
an answer for your company.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm not looking for ChatGPT to run my company.
correct.
It's a tool just like anything else, and then all these other softwares are just tools.
Yeah.
I just want an idea. I go act as my, and you prompted it. Act as my
Mm,
PR for public relations for um, just I said act as the expert PR person, right, for my
yeah.
company, and it already knows
Yeah.
my company because a lot of my information has been uploaded already. So act as I say I want to send off a public relations memo to Camille Smith about blah 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 blah. Give me
Yeah.
some suggestions of what you would say to her on these different topics.
Mhm.
Not, but I'll be specific on these different topics. Can you make sure that it sounds professional
Mhm.
and make sure that maybe put a little bit of I said put a little bit of Jerry Seinfeld kind of humor into it. You
Mhm.
can direct it and prompt it to what you want to do, and it gives me the answers what I'm looking for. I'm not
Yeah.
asking it to do it for me. I'm telling it what I need. Same way
Yes.
I would tell you if you were sitting on the meet with me as my expert person. I would say, "Hey, Camille, can you write this for me so I can actually send it out to my team or whatever." Same
Yeah.
thing. So I'm
Yeah.
talking to you. I'm talking to ChatGPT, but I have to make sure I specifically say what I would want. And then when I
Mhm.
see what comes up, I will
Mhm.
take and go, "Oh, I like that copy." Put into a sheet and then massage it. They
Yeah.
grab pieces of it and go back into ChatGPT. Can you rewrite this to sound more like this, and
True.
whatever. So you gotta actually. That's how you formulate and use those programs as tools. But if I wasn't doing that, I'd be paying someone else to think like that and keep going back and forth with them until they get me what I want.
Yes.
So
And which is, I guess, it's a catch 22, because obviously there's some folks that their skills are certain ways, and they're like, but but AI is taking control of these things that like we have skills for. But then now you can use AI and be able to be like the AI engineer and all that good stuff. We have
so
to
are you
adapt.
referring to? Are you talking about people who say they're taking their job?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Yes.
So I want to ask them what job have they done for me before.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah.
if they haven't got that job out there before, for most people, it's not taking their
Yes.
job. It's
Mm.
not because most black people are not even hiring anyways. So the AI is not.
Yeah.
It's more the white people should be worried about it taking away all their jobs, not the black people. This is giving us a leg up. It's not
Mm.
taking away your job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's allowing a solopreneur to have access to become bigger and better to hire more people. You know what I mean?
True.
So when we were so focused on it's taking away a job, that's just a talking point that the white people don't want. That don't want us to because what happened is they
Mm.
want to hire us. They made a school system. I shouldn't go down this road, but they made a
No,
school
no,
system.
come true,
They
come true. This is
they
your
they
world.
they made a school system for
Yes.
the create workers to come into
Mhm.
their companies to scale up their companies so they can hire more workers and then
Correct.
and then you come in for 25 years and they kick you out because you're too old now. They get a new crop of young people coming in, so therefore now they're scared because now the black people could take this AI stuff and create
Mhm.
their own businesses pretty at a level playing field and move up with them and sell products and services that they do. So they're the ones should be scared, not us. We should be welcoming this because this will help us scale.
Yes. And it's
and that's once again, I'm saying this because I'm doing it. I'm not saying this because I'm preaching to people to do it. I'm
receipts.
saying this because I'm doing this.
You got
Every time I get
receipts.
on my office here in Mount Albert or my office in Scarborough, right anywhere I go on my desktop, I have right there all the different tabs open up. You'll see about 6 of them. That's permanent, and that's AI programs that I use all the time for different
Yes.
things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I have one of the programs that scours to see what AI software new ones are out there. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
have one of so I have it's called Futurepedia, and it scours to find new ones that are out there. So what? Remember,
Okay.
not everyone's going to survive. Not every AI program is going to survive. So you try to find the best, use it, see what it does, and boom, and then make sure that your team present it to your team to make it more
Yes.
efficient. You know what I mean? So AI is our friend. We got to get out of our mind that it's not. It's the white Europeans that are
Mhm.
realizing that it's creating a level playing field that they don't like it. They want to control the commodity. They want to control the products. They want to control the services. They want to control supply chain. They want to control all that. So I look. I'm not. I love everybody, but I'm just
Yes.
telling you the truth. I'm in that field of the white corporations. I'm in there. So I
Mm-hmm.
see that they're like, wow, this is gonna. Some of these guys who are middle management, middle management, they're gonna lose their job because they got the job because they were of legacy of their family. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of those guys are gonna lose their job now, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're scared because of that. You know what I mean? But us as black people who want to level up and to scale up our businesses, we need to use these tools. We really do.
Absolutely. And I like how I'm talking about AI as of late because it's since I met you in February and the way that it's ridiculous. Like the way that it's just been able to the fact that you just said tax GPT. I'm flabbergasted because
Oh,
I always thought
so they have the CA now. CA. Oh,
yes, I just
oh,
sent it to you.
thank you. I didn't know that. Sorry, thank you for the. I when I searched into it, it was only IRS. It was only
Mhm.
.com. Now it's CA. Thank you.
I,
I mean,
to my accountant folks, I'm so sorry.
yes.
I'm sorry because I do taxes as well, but it's like
Oh,
it's funny because how do I say this? It's like when it comes to taxes or like personal finance, it's just the way that people I like educating folks
hmm
because there's going to be a time when that education that you receive from me will
yeah,
help you in the long run. And
correct.
it's like it's not that I don't want to tell you guys all of it because I'm
hmm
okay with it, but
Yeah,
it's when you get educated and you use it correctly. I'm really trying to show folks like, hey, there's a you see this path?
yeah,
CRA doesn't play.
correct.
CRA does not play. Like I even had an episode about CRA and I just there's certain things that you want to know just so you're able to do it correctly and
Correctly.
not get audited, not get
That's right.
like
That's right.
hey, I see that this happened.
Yeah,
Are you able to fix it?
yeah,
Fix it or you're gonna have to pay fees and stuff. And
that's
I
right.
think a lot of folks like really try to yes, it's fine to have loopholes, but it's also they're trying to cut corners
Mm,
that
yes,
is not ethical
yes.
as
You're right.
ethical.
Correct. Correct.
So it's but I mean, I'm hoping this tax GPT will be able to find ethical ways
Well,
to
I think like from what I understood, I'm going to
mhm,
check out taxgpt.ca now. What I
yeah.
understood is all they did was upload the tax code. So you get a new tax code all the time, right?
Oh gosh,
Change.
you're annoying.
So they upload the tax code now. So therefore now you can
Okay.
ask questions. So
Mm,
they still need that expert like yourself because
yeah.
but if I'm like for me, I have so many businesses that now I could go in there and say, okay, this new business, there's one business I've lost some money in because it's a new business, but I want
Mhm,
to use that to go into my next one and whatever it is, and
correct.
I already do that in CRA all the time, anyways. But I
Mm,
could ask it, what else can I do? and then go to my accountant to say whatever, you know what I mean? Because it will
Yeah.
know and I wanted it to feed it all my information, hopefully, so it
Yes.
could read it and understand it, and then give me suggestions. I think that's
Mm,
what the one in the States does. I'm not sure about this one
yes.
here. I'd like to actually check that out, because it doesn't do your taxes for you. It just gives you suggestions of what's going on with the tax code, allow you to, as an owner or of
Hmm.
a business, to get
Hmm.
those savings or whatever tax breaks. That's what it does.
It's true because the tax, something new comes out every second,
I didn't
and
even know
it's,
that.
well, not second, but like there's just new things like if someone's not aware about the first home buyers
Yes,
credit, then there's something like that, or like the rebates for fuel efficiency
got you.
cars or and
Yes,
other things like that. Like you're not
yeah,
gonna know hands on unless you, one, you have to be honest and
yes,
say these things.
correct.
So when you have the conversations, and I think that would fall under your line is with, as a business developer, you have to know the honest information. Like you
Yes,
have to know,
to assess properly. Yes,
yeah, you have to know
yes,
the person's background to be able
yes.
to give them the strategies that
That's right.
that works. Because if you
Correct.
don't know the whole truth,
Correct. I mean, they're not going to get the answers they want, because I won't know that, or they get the answer they want, but it's not going to help them, because they know that something behind the scenes is not going to happen.
I'm
Right?
like,
Yeah.
and do Tim don't have to know this little
Yes.
thing over
Exactly.
here.
Exactly. So, but
So
I could guess pretty fast sometimes, but just by
okay.
certain questions, open-ended questions you ask, you could guess pretty fast if this person's
Mm,
honest with you or not. And I
yes.
learned that over the years.
Okay.
But yeah, but to your point, I think Chat GPT or Tax GPT could
Mm-hmm.
help businesses too. I look, just for me,
Mm-hmm.
overall,
Mm-hmm.
scaling businesses, all these tools are great for us. Because
Correct.
keep in mind, we're 30,000 business out of 1.4 million in Canada. Do you know what I mean? So we need more businesses. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So let's welcome these tools and use them to actually make
Exactly.
to scale more businesses up. That's my whole thing is more of,
Yes.
we need to scale businesses, so let's use
Mhm.
these tools to scale.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
to have the strategic partnerships. That
Yes.
that's actually the key thing that I got from our conversation is having a team and then
Yes.
a strategic partnership, because without that, and
Mhm.
give and take.
Yes. Yes.
It's always
Yes.
about give and take because, hey, we can go so much further when we're together than
That's
alone.
right. Correct.
So I
Correct.
definitely believe that. And but I always ask folks,
Sure.
what are the three things you wish you knew about money when you were younger? Mino, you're still young. Mina, I didn't say 56 is old,
Yeah.
but what did you wish you knew before?
Well. My mom taught us. You know what I mean. And
Okay.
my mom and dad taught us about money. But look, I would say to other people, you know what I mean, about learning about, I guess, three things would be, maybe the first one is to prioritize your savings. You know what I mean? Create an emergency fund to provide financial security, because unexpected circumstances, 1989, 1990,
Mhm.
2001, what happened, 2008, you know what I mean? Things that happen, and it
Oh.
affects us personally. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
prioritize your savings, and whatever that looks like, because everyone's different. If you're a
Yes.
business owner, multiple business owners, you put that the savings in more of investments, you know what I mean, and stuff like that,
Mhm.
right? So second would be to diversify your investments, savings investments, to spread risk and maximize returns. So you don't want to all put everything into one thing. So
Mhm.
so my brother, who worked for the TSE, stock exchange. My brother worked for them for years on the ground. You know what I mean? So Cedric and I did business and did stocks and stuff like that for years. One of the things he always said to me, Tim, if you don't have $25,000 to throw into your driveway and burn, then don't get involved in the stock market, right? I just don't do one thing. Diversify what you're doing. So
Yes.
that would be my second thing. And then finally, I would say, don't underestimate the power of budgeting. So budgeting, tracking your expenses, helps you identify areas that you can save and invest, for the future. So I teach my grandkids now about budgeting. I don't believe right now in budgeting. Wealthy people don't budget. First of all, I'm saying this about budgeting because there's younger people and whatever on here that's what they do. Wealthy people don't budget.
Mhm.
Wealthy people invest. You know what I mean? They take the money and they decide what they're going to do with that money. If they're budgeting, then the wealthy people say you just get enough money to pay your bills and move on. Wealthy people decide what they're going to do with their money to invest to make money. They don't budget. Do you know what I mean? So when you say budgeting, that's for the mass. If you want to be wealthy. So I finished off the three things, but I'm going on a different note.
No, but do you?
So wealthy people, if you want to be wealthy people do not budget. Wealthy people, they actually project where they're going to place their money, and then they diversify their investments and funds. You know what I mean? They don't budget to go pay bills. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. When you keep that in mind, you got to go deeper into what that means, what wealthy people do. But that's their mindset, and that's why they're wealthy. But also, when people talk about retirement, you know what I mean? Savings for retirement, whatever. Wealthy people don't retire. Wealthy people have freedom days, freedom weeks, freedom months, freedom years, because they built their wealth. They could go and take off for 2 months into Greek, the islands, and do whatever they want and come back. They don't retire. You know what I mean? They have their freedom days, freedom months, freedom years. So if you're planning on saving, budgeting to retire, that's one thing. That's the system that we were brought up into. But when you start looking at the wealthy people, they don't do that. They don't budget. They invest whatever they got to do. They don't retire. These guys are still on these boards making $250,000 a year, sitting on a board and meeting 3 times a year on these big boards. So if we want to be there, you have to think like that and be like that. But to your point, though, those are the 3 things I think growing up, we need to actually tell our kids and show our kids about savings, diversify their investments, and budget. So I still tell that to my kids, because in they need to do that right now. But when you want to get to the next scale and scale your business, you got to think like you're a wealthy person.
Thinking like a wealthy person. Jeez. And you're absolutely right with the freedom, time, and all that good stuff. Because I've witnessed that. Like and I think what you're trying to say, just so people understand, with purchasing things that will cause like assets, is like income producing assets.
Correct.
Okay, because I understood it. I understood it. I understood it. So, are you able to mention a few that you think could be ideal in this time?
Well, I mean, so for instance, I'll talk about me. So I want to talk about somebody else's stuff. I'll talk about me. So for instance, I've trained thousands of staff in the restaurant business for different things. Customer service is one of the things. I trained a lot of staff all across Canada. So what I've done was I've created TFIT, which is my customer service training program. And from there now we're putting digitizing it. And therefore now you'd be able to go on there and get a certification, which I'm accredited by the government. I get a certification online. So therefore now I could be sitting I could be sleeping and my phone, I have to turn on my notification. I could be seeing a ding, 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 ding. Money's going into my account because someone's going online to do the program. You know what I mean? And get certified in the program. So if you were to take what you already know and digitize it, automate it, you know what I mean, to actually until you're diversifying what you've done before into making money for you. You could be sleeping at night and someone in another part of the world is going on and doing the program for you online. You know what I mean? Because it's 5 hours ahead or 9 hours ahead. So someone's always in there doing it. And everyone can use customer service training. You know what I mean? That's why I use that as the first one. Okay. Right? So literally it's just taking what you've done before and digitizing it and making it online and automating it. You know what I mean? That's how you now diversify your investments, and therefore now I will now make money automated. I don't have to actually retire anymore. I just literally just have my freedom days. If I'm making tons of money, like for instance, this one guy in the States, I won't say his name, but him and his wife, after all these years, they started making like hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s an hour for this one program they have online. Tons of money. So now they're at the point where they go, it's just too much. So now they're doing other stuff with the money. You know what I mean? To diversify what they're doing. You know, how many jets can you buy? How many this can you buy? How many that can you buy? But they were struggling for years. But now, when they automated it, it started just making all this money. So they'll never retire. They don't have to retire. They go away with their kids for 4 months of the year sometimes. You know what I mean? Or do whatever. So that's what I'm talking about, where we gotta think like that. But it doesn't mean that we're always immediately going to be like that. But if you think like that, you're gonna go towards that.
Okay. And that could be for anyone that's doing customer service, teaching, anything in particular that
Anything.
relates with their business.
Correct.
Okay, because like there are folks that they're probably like, "Oh, okay, Camille, so what do I do? Tim, what do I do?" Obviously you just gave one that you personally do,
Yeah.
so that's a great thing. Is there let's do one more. Is there another one that you
Well,
can?
okay. What can I ask you a question? What do you do that's automated? Like when you get off this right now, is there something behind the scenes that's happening for you that's making you money that's going into your bank?
Right now the only thing is dividend stocks,
Okay.
and that's not online courses, so
No, that's
that's
not like
that's why I'm
that's cool.
listening. Yeah, so that's when you said that I was like, how can I make like a program that is able to boom do that?
What's your service that you do now?
I do
Sorry,
bookkeeping.
I don't want to be personally, but I'm just saying, what's your
No, no, no.
service you do now?
So I do bookkeeping,
Yeah.
taxes, and personal finance coaching.
So what do you find is the most asked from you when it comes to like during the year? It doesn't matter what it is, but what's the
Mhm.
most asked of you to actually do? But
Mm,
what's the most popular thing that you get asked to do when it comes to any kind of service?
Most of it is investing, actually.
So advice about investing, right?
Hmm.
So why don't you create a portal where you
Hmm.
can actually have someone go online and
Hmm.
literally sign up for $4.95 a month, or go or $10 a month, or $20, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
have all that information on there so they can get that information, or then put it into a little app so they can get that app, and you just keep filling up that you keep filling up that app with information, and they can
Hmm.
click on it and say, I want to ask a question, boom, and
Hmm.
involve some kind of API from a chat GPT into it, so you can actually get that done. And therefore now as you ask a question, it can look for the answer for you, put what you've
Yes.
already given it, and
Yes.
what's out there. So so exactly what they're always asking you, you can turn that
Yes.
into some kind of revenue with by automated automatically, because you know that's a question that everyone's going to ask you. So why not have it where they can have the answer for it right away? And not just that, you want to embellish on that. So you want to
Hmm.
actually do other answers, or go down derivatives
Rabbit
off of
hole.
that. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Yeah, you want to get asked more questions, and then what you can have is you can have a starter, you can have a immediate level, and a
Yes.
pro, and the more they want answers they want, more questions, you can actually have, you can pay another $2 or whatever to
Mhm.
get a month to get those answers, whatever that.
Okay.
I mean, you can create something like that with what you already know that
Exactly.
you're doing, and
Yes.
therefore now it's not taken away from anything that you're doing. But
Guys,
but
do
you're
you see what the
but you're
exclusive
sleeping
that
at
just
night.
happened?
But you're sleeping at night, and
Yes.
exactly what you're doing now, it's
Yes.
automated, and somebody in another part of the world. And once you advertise it, can actually get onto it and get that information too. 'Cause remember, some of this information, it's for everywhere, not just for
Yes.
Toronto.
Okay. I just hope folks know that that was exclusive. Strategic way of thinking, and Tim, you just did it off the bat. That's what I love about it.
It gets look. I'm going to tell you this right now, and it's a learned behavior where
Mhm.
I've mentioned this to a few people a long time ago. You have
Yes.
the right people in the room. I
Yes.
can and start in the morning time. I can literally get your
Yes.
business
Mhm.
from go to CRA to get articles and corporations, to get your
Yes.
logo, to get your social media, get your website, all done in that day, and you have a presence online as a business. I'm telling you right now. I'm just telling you right now because we do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a joke, but a lot of
Yep.
people say, "What?" I go, "I could sit with you in the morning.
Yes.
I could get you. We could go online. I could get you articles in corporation, get
Yes.
your social media done, get your animated logo, get a logo, go start your trademark. You want to start your trademark. I get all that stuff done in a day with my team, not me, with our team. And then literally, you have a presence online like you're a business.
And
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 then we start going from there and start, what do you have? What do you do? How do we actually get automated? How do we do whatever? That's business development. But
yeah.
but someone who's done it for a long time, like, look, some guy could fly and do a 360 or whatever it is, windmill dunk, but they've been doing it for so long that you sit there and go, wow, that's amazing. For them, it's
Yeah.
like, I have been doing that all my life. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 40 years, so
Mm-hmm.
it's a little easier to me to think
Yes.
of it fast, but
Yes.
doesn't mean that it just happened like that. I'm just like that. No. But
True.
now with the right
True.
team, I could
Mm-hmm.
take what your product or service you have and
Yes.
help you analyze it the best way to make you money automated. Like automated money coming out. You don't have to actually call people up anymore. I mean, look, we have a chat bot. People can ask questions on there and give them answers and
Yeah.
direct them to another area to actually direct them to go and sign up online and direct them to this question and ask that question to direct them to where, direct them to a survey. You can
Yeah.
direct them where you want to direct them to, and money, boom, goes into your bank account. So all of a sudden, to imagine this. Imagine you sit there and you're hearing ding. Oh, someone just paid $24 to go to my bank. But what you don't want to just hear ding. You want to hear ding, 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 just like the lottery, because then everyone around the world, if
Yeah.
someone's putting money in your bank account every minute, every second. So I think about that. Imagine that now.
We're gonna talk offline.
but listen, just imagine that.
Yeah.
I saw someone's notification.
Yes.
When I was in Las Vegas, and he goes, "Here, look, see this? This is someone paying. This is every second someone's paying for my service, and I'm here in Las Vegas. But it didn't just happen overnight. Yeah. But just imagine that. Keep that in your mind. That now all of a sudden you have someone paying for your service, and not just in Toronto, all over the world. So that remember, there's people who are 9 hours ahead, people are 5 hours ahead, whatever. So there's always someone on there taking a look at what your product and service is, and they're buying it. So can you get there? Why not? You can, because you're already doing it.
Yes.
But that's 10x it.
My wheels are turning right now. But then
that's scaling. That is scaling right there.
Yes.
Just that one little thing. That's like scaling your business, Camille. Seriously. Just that one thing is really going to scale your business. And so there's multiple things to do to scale a business, but that right there, it's scaling your business.
Gee, we're gonna talk offline.
That's fine. I don't mind talking about this online, because everyone needs to know this.
True.
Everyone has their own product and their own service that they need to scale. Yes. Everyone has it. So you're not. No one. Everyone should hold their own IP, but that's what we talk. We go into trademarking and all that stuff, and get your own IP and make sure you have that locked down. After that, talk about everything. True. You want to, you know what I mean? So this should be talked about more. I just don't have the bandwidth to talk to everybody. It's just, you know what I mean? I just gotta do, you know what I mean? So yeah.
But I appreciate that, because I'm pretty sure there's other vibrant avenues that you're exploring currently. Is there anything that you could shed some light on? Just
of course. So I'm really excited to be exploring I told you I think already about the supply chain. So that's one of the projects that's close to my heart right now is my supply chain and import and exporting sector. Yeah. So within the visionary scope of TAF Industries, this is my main holding company. The sector focuses on the import export of Black-owned products. So I'm really excited about that, and then also services. You know what I mean? So with the deep resonance of the community, the upliftment, and the cultural celebration. So I'm making sure that the import and export of everything you do when it comes to products and services is Black-owned, Black-led, and Black-focused. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm working on right now. It's doing that supply chain, import and export sector of my businesses. And then additionally, so I'm actively involved in the content creative media sector, focusing. So where we're focused on being a nurturing umbrella under which the rich and diverse stories of all Black businesses, we find them and we provide them, resonate the voice and reach hearts and minds across all borders. You know what I mean? So Creative Ones Media, I just joined that group. Underneath them, they have BBL TV, and they have also Screen TV. I also have my own Black Pulse 24, which will launch next year. That will land stories on there for all Black stories on there from radio, television, movies, anything that's Black content and Black anything that's Black content will land on there also, right? And then
are you going to TIFF?
Pardon me?
Are you going to TIFF? Have you attended TIFF so far?
Oh yeah. I've been to TIFF. I'm not a producer. I'm not a director. I provide the business part of content creation as far as studios, rehearsal spaces, and all that stuff. So I have friends at TIFF. I have friends who the Black Screen Office. I have friends all over because I've been involved in the industry. But I'm a professional drummer and keyboard player for years in our group. But now I'm on the other side of the glass, and I do more providing the business of content creation for Black artists.
I love that. I love how you have so much things going on and multiple avenues, and it's just as a showing your receipts with being an entrepreneur,
Yes.
because I think what we need our community to do is, instead of being a solopreneur, find these strategies and also professional
Mhm.
advice so
Yeah.
you're able to scale up to flourish, because we
Yeah.
don't want, like, we want the dollar to be in the community longer than
Longer
six
than 6 hours. Yeah,
hours.
for sure.
So like yo, the fact that you gave me like exclusive, like this was like off the dome, like that you just gave me, that I'm like
But now
Mhm.
execution. Now you
Yes,
need to do it. Now what
yes.
whether it's like that or some kind of ideation of that. It's the
Mhm.
whole the purpose of this is, look, there's a way you can do it. Let's figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So you can actually make a movement on it. It can't
yes.
be it's a great idea and then leave it there. Those are the people that will always be the
Just
ones in the
simmer.
wheelchair or also in the rocking chair, wishing that they had this idea. I wish they would have done that 30 years ago. So you got to move on it, because you never know what will happen of it. And keep in mind that what you're doing today will be different next week, will be different next year, and 5 years from now. I mean,
Yes.
Netflix wasn't Netflix. You remember Netflix before,
True.
when
Blockbuster.
I usually give them $1.30 or whatever it was, and they send me 3 or 4 DVDs, and sometimes I would never give it back, and then I was like, how can these guys be in business? So, you know what I mean? So because like, you used to give us DVDs and ask us to send it back. So that was Netflix back then, and look at them
Mm,
now,
yeah.
138 million subscribers every month at
And
$13
they just
a
done
month.
off Blockbuster too.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that to you to say that whatever you come up with now for scaling your business will be
Yeah.
different next year, hopefully, because either be better or
Mhm.
change or whatever it is for the better. You know what I mean? So
Well, I'm definitely going to take that into consideration, because I have been seeing that, and I'm like, I just need to do it. Just
yes,
doll up myself and just boom, do
just
it
do it.
and all that good stuff.
Yes. So,
Tim,
and
thank
like you
you.
said, just do it. Just
Yeah,
do it.
because that is the best. That is the
Yeah.
key thing. It's the things that I've been hearing as of late has been discipline,
Mm,
execution, collaboration, um, and strategic intentions. Like, those are key factors that I've been hearing as of late, and I'm like,
okay.
just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Seriously, and God bless you for doing this platform.
Mhm.
And we need more and more. Like I said, I'm now diving into um, making sure that content is on a lot of platforms that are black. So the Black Pulse 24 is
Mhm.
one of hopefully hundreds. The BBL TV is a platform, and they're on Roku right now, and they're on
Mhm.
Android or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's another one of hopefully hundreds. You know what I mean? Creative one.
correct.
We want to make sure that we're not always saying, "Well, there's one person doing it over there already. I don't need to do it either." Yes, you do. You know what I mean?
Y'all.
Rogers himself has tons of the same stations all over the country. You know what I mean?
True.
So we need to have more, not be competitors, but be collaborators together and say, oh, you have content, put it onto this platform. Oh,
Yeah,
also put that content on this platform. Just have
exactly.
to own your own IP, but then you can put it on different platforms. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So we need to make sure we're doing that, working together. Same with businesses. We need lots and lots of businesses. We need lots and lots of content creations. We need just lots for our Black people. So
yeah.
that's scaling is huge for me. Scaling your business, product or services, scaling it is key for our future. It really is.
Dang. And Tim, how can the folks find you?
Just Google Tim Fray.
That's true.
Just Google Tim Fray. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just Google Tim Fray. You'll find me. You'll see my picture. Only one black guy that looks like me on there. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I remember when we just met, I want to say you were the first individual that had like the QR code
Mm,
to be able to just say, and I think that is important, because now that we say that, business cards are ideal,
mhm.
but like we said, technology just use your phone.
Just use your phone, scan it. That's why I say just Google now, because you can Google and you'll see I'm all over. This is one of the things I like about business people. When I vet, I have to vet a lot of people, because I want to make sure that coming into a business circle, we want to make sure everyone. I answer to other people outside of me, so I want to make sure anyone in my circle knows that I vetted people properly. I'm out there. You go on and search business wise, go on to CRA and ask for Tim Fray on CRA. And see all my businesses, see everything that's active, see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'll go on and to Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. Just Google me, and I'm out there. And if you think something's wrong with me, then that's fine. But then at least I'm out there, transparent. You know what I mean? When it comes to business. So people who hide themselves, don't want to be online, I don't do business with them. You know what I mean? So I need to know who you are and what you're doing. You know what I mean? In order to bring you into a circle to work with other people that are doing the exact same thing, high end too. So yeah, just Google me. That's what I say now. My daughters laugh because they come in. This is off the. Maybe we could cut this out if you want to cut this out. But my daughters come in. I decided to leave. I was building onto my studio in Bermuda in 2005, and in 2006 my wife got pregnant, and I'm like, oh, do I go back to work in Bermuda, or do I stay and take care of my kids? So since 2006 I decided to raise my kids until they're finished school. So one's gonna be 17 soon and one's 15, and so I'm still here. But what they found out is in school, in high school, they said, Dad, are you famous? I go, what are you talking about? I go, what are you talking about? Because all they know me as is their driver and their hairdresser, and they know me as a person that brings food and whatever it is. But they didn't realize that I did music and what I've done with the awards and who I know, who I've worked with. I'll play for Prince and all these other people that did stuff with. They didn't know any of this stuff, but their friends are saying, "Oh, do you know? Hey, do you know Cameron Fray? Do you know Tim Fray?" And she goes, "That's my dad." He goes, "Oh, we're Googling him and blah 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 blah." So in school, their friends are Googling Fray because they can't and Googling what I've done, and Kenny and Lexi had no clue.
OMG! And then you know what? Kudos to you, because you did mention this to me before. That my heart melted when you told that story, as like you became a family man, and decided to like be a family man and have those time with your family, because
You know the story about the black man not being there for his family. So I didn't want to be that stats. You know what I mean? That in that stat. I want to do well by my wife and my kids and be there, and my nieces and nephews too. So but at the same time keeping the business stuff there, but always making sure that they're forefront right now. And when they're at the point right now, the rope is getting a little longer right now, because they don't need me as much. But it hasn't been cut off yet, because I still know that I want to be there for them or responsible for them. But call my partner in Bermuda, goes, "Tim, are you ready to come back?" Like after like 16 years, "Tim, are you ready?" He goes, "We need to actually extend this the studio and something else, right?" I go, "Not yet, not quite yet. Like I still not finished my job yet. I will never finish, but they won't need me as much. You know what I mean? I could go and do that stuff."
I love that. I actually love that. And so big up you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
folks, make sure this is all. Just Google.
Like I'm gonna use that now too, because I before people used to say, "Oh," and I always have on my phone my QR code, like you said, my digital card. But just Google me, you'll find my name. You'll find anything you want to do with me, you'll find it online.
That's that. And is there anything else you want to tell the folks? Because this has been an amazing conversation.
Sure, I wanted to do what I wanted the folks to do what you're doing. Do the whole stocks. I've been doing that too with one of I have a club, investment club for Black people, but I have a close circle. And what I learned was the dividends from stocks. All these years I've been doing stocks, I wasn't doing dividend ones. So I've learned that over the last 2 years. So people, let folks know that, I still get notifications. I got today a couple of my stocks that got some dividends from. So I'm like to myself, well, if I could go and do that for these stocks, then I can go source this out. If I want to make $1,500 a month, I need to get this much stocks in order to do that. So we create an Excel file or a group, and knowing that this is what we need to buy. high in order to get this much from dividends. So that's another form of diversity in your investment and getting money when you're sleeping. So I want to tell people to do what you're doing, because this needs to be talked about more for young people, that you got to do that dividend stocks, you know what I mean? And they can do it easy on Wealthsimple, you know what I mean? Just go in there and boom, and create that. So yeah, that's what I want to tell people.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank
you know, folks, make sure you have to have your notebook out. We just got exclusiveness, okay? So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And man, I'm going to execute what Tim just mentioned to me.
That's
all
good.
that
That's
good
great.
stuff. And till next time, folks.
Thank you.
For watching. Big up yourself, Tim.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Camille.
No
Awesome.
problem.
Thank you, everybody.
Mm.
All right.
Whoop.
Financial literacy, knowledge is a must. So link the flip boss, watch the result flash, and watch your life change and for a better cause. You have a business or a plan and want to make it. Yeah, flip and floss, are they want to manifest it. Yeah, and if you want to better manage all your credit, call the boss. Flip and floss, no doubt, then we do it. Yeah, flip and floss, money literacy boss. Yeah, greatness in our blood because we're working for your cause. Flip and floss, money literacy boss. Yeah, boots up your knowledge for your minimal cost. Hey, yeah, flip and floss, money literacy boss. Greatness in our blood because we're working for your cause. Flip and floss, money literacy boss. Yeah, up your knowledge for your minimal cost.